But first I want to make sure everybody has a program with the extra song lyrics for today, because we are going to be doing a little bit of sing along. So get your voices ready. Oh, and we have more folks coming. So I'm gonna just pause for 1 minute as we all get settled. And Robin, if you can make sure folks coming in get a program, that would be awesome. Thank you. Welcome and good morning. Oh, one other thing is that if, as the Earth rotates and the sun's position changes, if you find yourself in the sun and that makes you uncomfortable, you're always welcome to move your chair into an area where you do feel more comfortable. Again, there are waters by the door if you get a little parched, and if you start to feel a little overwhelmed, you can always go inside. All we ask is that you put your mask on before you go inside, but there is air conditioning in there if you need to cool off. We're gonna wait for folks to get here. Okay. So we have a number of visitors this morning. Welcome to all of you. But for those, that means that those of us who are regulars have even more of a responsibility to sing our opening song really loud, so that everyone knows how the song goes, both for today and for future reference. So I'm counting on y'all. All right. So I'm gonna start with our opening song. And those of you who know it, you know it. Those of you who are in Zoom, you can find the lyrics in the chat box in Zoom. And those of you who are here, they should be in your programs. Is that correct? Okay, the lyrics are in the program. So here we go. Our first note will be, okay. Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you. Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you. Thank you. So good morning, everyone. I am Megan Rancier, and I will be presenting service today. Let me just adjust this. Ooh. All right. John Schutze is providing technical assistance, and thank you all so much for being here in person and on Zoom. It's wonderful to see everyone who could be here, and we are glad that we can keep in touch and support our community virtually for those of us who are in our virtual service on Zoom. So hello, everybody out there. Please be aware that we are recording this service and it will be posted on our Facebook and YouTube pages. The only portion of the service that is not recorded is the joys and concerns portion. We joined together this morning to seek justice, equality, and fairness in the world. Our hearts are touched by the human need we feel around us, whether far away or within reach of our hands. We come here to be together because this is how we believe our lives are best lived: in questioning and in conversation, in compassion and in service, in gratitude and in joy, in companionship and in love. It is good to be together with you this morning. Please take a moment to think of all your friends at MDU you see, greet them here in person or with a comment in the chat box, and remember that you can still reach out to them through email, phone, social media, or video chat. Physical distancing does not need to mean emotional distancing. Let us support one another and greet one another here in person. I'll give you 2 minutes to do that. Visitors, as we are a diverse group with varying interests and beliefs, our services are varied in format, tone, and topic. We encourage you to attend or view several services to gain a good understanding of our congregation. If you'd like to receive our weekly email newsletter, please email us at news, that's NEWS, @mvuuc.org. We remain committed to supporting our members and friends as we continue to work through this time of social distancing. For that reason, we are coordinating assistance with groceries, phone calls, and other needs. If this sounds like something that would be helpful to you, please send an email to SAC with your name, SAC@mvuuc.org with your name and what kind of assistance you would like to request. Now is the time for announcements. Announcements can be sent ahead of time to services@mvuuc.org to be read. If you're attending in Zoom, you can raise your hand by clicking the raise hand button at in the reactions tab at the bottom right of the Zoom window. Then we'll announce your name and turn on your mic and camera so you can make your announcement. But if you're here in person, you can raise your real hand and you can come up here and make your announcements. So let me check to see if there are any Zoom announcements. I have to open the chat box. It looks like there aren't any announcements in Zoom. Are there any announcements among y'all? I have a few because I always have a few. Okay. Well, I'll get started. Before I start making my announcements, there is a thing going around that I would like everyone to sign if they could. There's also a little square sheet of paper that I'd like everybody to take because we're going to be using these in just a moment. Okay, announcements. So anti-racism reading group, if you want to join, just email me at sac@mvuuc.org. Rock the Block is happening on September 18th. That's in Toledo. Basically, you're just doing pretty easy beautification activities like picking up trash, planting flowers, various other activities. And you basically join together with lots of other different kinds of people from the area. It's a great opportunity to reach out and help the community. So if you're interested in helping with Rock the Block, it's going to be from 8:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday, September 18th. So there's information about that in our email newsletter. We have a designated link that you can click to sign up. Did I have any? Oh, and the last announcement is that I still need volunteers for Campus Fest at BGSU. That's on September 9th. So I have all these little highlighters that I keep forgetting to bring here to show you, but we're going to be giving out highlighters and just telling people about who we are, where we are, and what we do. Okay. So any other announcements before I have our last announcement? Yeah. Okay.
Hi, everybody. I'm Noelle McClooney. If you don't know me, I am the current president at MVUC. I just wanted to, I think everybody knows, but today is Sarah's last day with us as our Director of Religious Education. Just wanted to give her an extra thank you for that. Also, we're finalizing our job ads for a new director, as well as some religious education assistants, childcare people. We have a board meeting today, so I'm hoping to finalize those job ads and information, and then start marketing that, so advertising that. So if you know anybody, I know I've had a few people interested, so I'll definitely get the official ad to you guys, but feel free to share that around as well. All right. Oh, for parents that have kids that come, I'm going to be covering just temporarily, same time, 10:30, doing RE until we find somebody else. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So yeah, RE is a big job. So thank you to Noelle for taking that on, but a huge thank you to Sarah and Mike Rainey Smith back for doing RE for years. I think you were doing RE before I even started coming here. So you've been doing this for many years. Actually, Sarah, would you mind coming up here for just a moment? Give it up for Sarah, everybody. So since this is your last day as RE director, at least for a little while, we have a couple of tokens of appreciation, very small, very humble. We have these flowers for you, courtesy of Hannah Maccabee and her beautiful flower garden. We have this card, which hopefully is, it's humble, but it's handmade, made with love, signed by all of us here. And we also have a little song that we're going to sing for you.
Oh, I love songs.
Yay. Okay. So I don't know if everybody actually knows the tune. How many of you know this tune? Okay, that's good enough. That's good enough. But I'm going to sing it once through alone so that you know how it goes. Does anybody need the words still? Okay. David still needs the words. Does anybody have the clipboard with the words? Thank you. Sharing is caring. All right, so this is how the song is going to go. Just listen first and then we'll sing it together. Ready? L is for the things we've learned from you. O is for outstanding work you do. V is very, very. E is extraordinary. Love is what we have for you. Okay, so everybody ready? L is for the things we've learned from you. O is for outstanding work you do. B is very, very. E is extraordinary. Love is what we have for you.
Thank you.
Yay!
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And of course that goes to Mike as well, because they are the amazing team that makes RE work. All right. So that concludes announcements. Thanks everybody for singing. Now what are we doing? Yes, lighting the chalice. Thank you. So the chalice will be lit today by Robin Perry. Please join me in reading these words for the lighting of the chalice. They appear as a comment in the chat box in Zoom, as well as in your service programs. Ready? In recognition of Labor Day, we light this flame to honor all work, including the work of our hands and our backs, in gratitude for all the labors that support our world. Oh, I have a different version, don't I? Sorry. Don warned me about that. Can we start over? Here we go. In recognition of Labor Day, we light this flame to honor all work, in gratitude for all the labors that support our world. That was better. Oh, it's not. Maybe it's out of fuel. Well, we can run inside and get candles if we want. Yeah, just goes over there. Thank you for trying. Sometimes it doesn't always work out, but like life. So today we are going to skip the traditional opening words and move straight to a song. So you probably noticed that today's service title is Solidarity Forever. And that's actually the title of a really good old Union song that was made famous by people like the Almanac Singers, if you've ever heard of them. And this is sung to the tune of the Battle Hymn of the Republic, also known as John Brown's Body. Do y'all know that tune? All right, so we're gonna sing that tune with these new words. So today is a singing day, in case you didn't already know. And I'm gonna take a sip of water to clear my throat. And yeah, this is where the title of today's service comes from, is from this song. So let's try that first note. Can everybody match my pitch? Loud and strong. When the union's inspiration through the workers' blood shall run, there can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. Yet what force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one? But the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. It is we who plowed the prairies, built the cities where they trade, dug the mines and built the workshops, endless miles of railroad laid. Now we stand outcast and starving mid the wonders we have made, but the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. They have taken untold millions that they never toiled to earn, but without our brain and muscle, not a single wheel can turn. We can break their haughty power, gain our freedom when we learn that the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. In our hands is placed a power greater than their hoarded gold, greater than the might of atoms magnified 1,000-fold. We can bring to birth a new world from the ashes of the old, for the union makes us strong. Last chorus. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. Woo! Good job. All right. So I'm going to launch into the reflection for today. And I don't know if it occurred to anybody else as you were singing that song, but there are actually a lot of commonalities between the situation of working people back in the late 19th century when the labor movement in this country first got started, and conditions for working people today, especially in terms of income inequality. There's also a lot of lessons that we can learn from unions, labor unions, for us as Unitarian Universalists, and especially in our congregation. So the first Labor Day was celebrated in the United States on September 5th, 1882. On September 6th of this year, our country will celebrate our 139th national holiday dedicated to working people and their right to organize for safe working conditions and fair compensation. In this reflection, I'd like to share with you a few highlights from US labor history that have been adapted from this book called Carry It On, A History in Song and Picture of America's Working Men and Women by folk singer Pete Seeger and author Bob Reiser. Okay, so the fact that I had you sing union songs already today is the influence of this book. It's interesting to think about, again, how the situation of workers in the late 19th century that led to the modern labor movement might still be relatable to working people today. During the Civil War, America's industry built up tremendous momentum. When the war ended, soldiers on both sides dropped their arms to take up tools to dig coal, build railways, cut timber, and do the thousands of other jobs that the expanding nation wanted. But prosperity was not shared by all. Those some, like Andrew Carnegie, J.P. Morgan, and Jay Gould amassed fortunes undreamed of before the war. But meanwhile, the millions of people with laboring jobs remained, as the newspaper publisher Horace Greeley observed, quote, shamefully poor. An idea that had been germinating for years finally flowered. Two labor unions emerged, drawing working people from every part of the nation into their ranks. The first was the Knights of Labor. The second was the American Federation of Labor. Originally a secret organization of workers, the Knights of Labor soon became a rallying place for, quote, men and women of every craft, creed, and color, end quote. The American Federation of Labor opened its doors primarily to skilled workers who had already organized into smaller craft unions. Its goals were purposely simpler, geared to immediate issues of wages and hours. The unions had different objectives, but all agreed that the 12-hour workday, think about that, 12 hours, dangerous working conditions, and starvation wages, the lack of education, the general degradation of life that had occurred in this new industrial age must end. One issue especially became a call to action across the country, uniting all working people, the 8-hour day. And of course, there's a song about that. And I'm not going to expect you to sing it. I'll just sing a couple verses. It's called Free America, and you might notice a little Irish influence here. We're brave and gallant miner lads who work all underground. With courage and good nature, none finer can be found. We work both late and early and get but little pay to support our wives and children in free America. And when this strike is at an end and we have gained the day, we'll drink a health to our miner boys, both near and far away. 8 hours we'd have for working, 8 hours we'd have for play, 8 hours we'd have for sleeping in free America. I love that. So 8 hours. We think of 8 hours as the standard today, but it wasn't always that way. On May 1st, 1886, 500,000 workers across the United States laid down their tools, vowing not to pick them up until they had won the 8-hour workday. It was America's most widespread strike. Men and women took to this, and children, by the way, because don't forget, children were working these 12-hour days as well. Men, women, and children took to the streets and the parks with picnic baskets and parasols. In Chicago, the mood was different. While 80,000 workers and their families strolled down Michigan Avenue, Pinkerton detectives and city police lined the rooftops, and National Guardsmen squatted behind machine guns. The stage was set for a riot. For 3 days, the city waited. Then on May 3rd, police broke up a skirmish with clubs and guns, leaving 4 workers dead. Outraged, the trade unionists planned to hold a protest meeting on May 4th at Haymarket Square. Those of you who know your labor history know what happens at Haymarket Square. At that meeting, police ordered the crowd to disperse. Suddenly, a bomb exploded on the ground between the crowd and the front ranks of the police. Dozens of people fell to the ground, injured or killed. Without a moment's hesitation, the police opened fire into the crowd. In the end, 7 policemen and 15 crowd members lay dead on the pavement. Local strike leaders were arrested and tried, not for murder, but for conspiracy. For the time being, the 8-hour-a-day movement was stopped. Fast forward to March 25th, 1911. A fire broke out at the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory. How many of you have heard of the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory? Yeah. So this was in New York City. Most of the employees at this factory were women, and specifically immigrant women. because the doors to the stairwells and exits were locked. A common practice at the time to prevent workers from taking unauthorized breaks and to reduce theft, many of the workers could not escape from the burning building and jumped from the high windows. The fire caused the deaths of 146 garment workers, 123 women and girls, and 23 men, who died from the fire, smoke inhalation, or falling or jumping to their deaths. This tragedy led to legislation requiring improved factory safety standards and helped spur the growth of the International Ladies Garment Workers Union, which fought for better working conditions for sweatshop workers. The following year, 1912, the industrial workers of the world emerged to bring together, quote, bring together all workers in all industries. The IWW, also known as the Wobblies, believed that a singing movement is a winning movement. And that's something I personally believe too. For that reason, they issued songbooks to all of their members in an effort to help build one big union for all. And this is one of the songs from that songbook. They were directly making fun of the Salvation Army, just FYI. I need to point that out. If you know this, chime in. Long-haired preachers come out every night, try to tell you what's wrong and what's right. But when asked how about something to eat, they will answer in voices so sweet. You will eat by and by in that glorious land above the sky, way up high, work and pray, live on hay. You'll get pie in the sky when you die. That's a lie. There's 4 more verses, but I'll spare you. All right. So a federal Department of Labor was established on March 4th, 1913, the direct product of a half-century campaign by organized labor for a voice in the cabinet, and an indirect product of the progressive movement. The department's purpose is, quote, to foster, promote, and develop the welfare of working people, to improve their working conditions, and to enhance their opportunities for profitable employment. With the Great Depression's severe unemployment, the labor movement revived the idea of reducing work hours and pushed for the passage of the Fair Labor Standards Act, establishing an 8-hour day and a 40-hour week. Again, something that I think we probably take for granted today. In the following decades, the labor movement worked to extend coverage of the law to all workers and prevent employers from forcing employees to engage in unpaid work. In 1935, the United Mine Workers joined with a dozen other industrial unions to form the Congress for Industrial Organization, or CIO. So if you've ever heard of the AFL-CIO, that's the second half. They would represent the tens of millions of industrial workers, women workers, and workers of color still outside the labor movement. That same year, labor unions in the United States were formally recognized under US law with the enactment of the 1935 National Labor Relations Act. So that was less than 100 years ago. 86 years, to be exact, after the establishment of the National Labor Relations Act, the development of organized labor in the United States has had many ups and downs. Often it seems like more downs than ups. In the mid-50s, about 30% of American workers belonged to a labor union. Last year, that number was only 10.8%. According to the most recent report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the rate of union membership among public sector workers is over 5 times the rate of private sector workers. Black workers are more likely to be union members than white, Asian, or Latinx workers. Men have a higher union membership rate than women. I consider myself fortunate to be a member of a union, the BGSU Faculty Association, where I have served as an executive committee member for 6 years. In 2013, this is 2 years after we officially became a union, we established a collective bargaining agreement that guarantees certain procedures for evaluation and promotion, as well as regular raises for all full-time faculty. But it's complicated. I am proud to be part of this union, and in many ways, my experience with unions is very similar to my experience with Unitarian Universalist congregations, and it's not just because we all sing a lot. Both bring together people from many walks of life who have an interest in making the world a better place. Both encourage active participation among their members, and both have to contend with the fact that their members will often disagree about the best course of action. Any of you who have ever been in a board meeting for MVUC, you know. Both are sometimes seen as, well, I won't say lost causes, but struggling causes that are constantly trying to grow their numbers, and both often depend on the many hours of work contributed by unpaid volunteers. But both are rooted in a belief in our first principle, which is the worth and dignity of all people, every person. I also see both unions and UU congregations as social justice organizations, actively putting their beliefs into practice and working to change the systems and policies that affect people's lives. Although both unions and UUs are still working to find ways to place racial justice at the center of their missions, I believe that our 8th principle can help to guide us here at MVUUC. And just as a reminder for folks who aren't familiar with our principles, they are on the back of your programs, so you can always refer to those. So I think the point here is that being part of any organization that works for positive change in the world is going to be a struggle, but it's a struggle worth taking on. And it only works when we all work together. Solidarity forever. All right, so in that spirit of solidarity, we've already sung Solidarity Forever. We're gonna sing one more song, and it's called We Shall Not Be Moved. This is a song that has a very long history in protest movements in this country. It was definitely used during the civil rights movement, but before that, it was used in the labor movement when people would have strikes, especially when they would have sit down protests where they would just sit in one place and not move. Their recurring refrain was, "We shall not be moved." So it uses the same melody every single time. And the only thing that changes is the first phrase of the first line of every verse, right? So the melody goes like this. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved, just like a tree that's standing by the water. We shall not be moved. All right. So when the verse changes, I'm going to tell you that first line. And that's a practice called lining out, where the song leader yells out the next line. So the next line would be, "We're fighting for our children." So we would sing, "We're fighting for our children. We shall not be moved. We're fighting for our..." Does that make sense? Okay, we'll get it by the end. I know we will. So we're just going to start with just the basic, we shall not be moved. Ready? 1, 2, ready, go. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved, just like a tree that's standing by the water. We shall not be. We're fighting for our children. We're fighting for our children. We shall not be moved. We're fighting for our children. We shall not be moved, just like a tree that's standing by the water. We shall not. We're black and white together. We're black and white together, we shall not be moved. We're black and white together, we shall not be moved, just like a tree that's standing by the water. We're women and men together. We're women and men together, we shall not be moved. We're women and men together, we shall not be moved, just like a tree that's standing by the water. We'll build a mighty union. We'll build a mighty union, we shall not be moved. We'll build a mighty union, we shall not be moved, just like a tree that's standing by the water. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved, just like a tree that's standing by the water. We shall not be moved. Great job, everyone. All right, so we'll now move into our offertory. Now more than ever, we are counting on your pledge payments and donations to help sustain and strengthen this congregation that is so important to all of us, supporting our efforts to be a community of love, truth, justice, and service. If you're in Zoom, please click on the link in the chat box or scan the QR code, and be sure to select the correct designation on the drop-down box when you donate. Thank you. And for everyone sitting here, we're just going to sit in silence for a couple of minutes. And we did this last week, and I thought it was really nice. Just sort of like a silent meditation. Sam might be getting offertory baskets that we can use. But for now, why don't we just sit and listen to the sounds around us. So now is the time for the sharing of joys, concerns, and milestones. John, recording again. So Heidi is going to read our closing words for us today. Thank you, Heidi.
Megan's a lot taller.
Oh, sorry. Here. I got it.
Okay, that's better.
Yay.
I feel short now. But, our closing words today are from Rich Yesselson, an elevator pitch for unions. Whether you realize it or not, unions help you in countless ways. Union workers still hold substantial wage and benefit premium over non-union workers. Basically, you're more likely to be paid better, have more vacation time, better benefit package than if you're not in the union. Your workplace is likely to be a lot safer. Compare unionized versus non-unionized manufacturing facilities and coal mines. If union standards for pay, benefits, safety, and health didn't exist, there would be no pressure on non-union employers to, at least, try to approach them. Moreover, as the National Labor Relations Act states in its preamble, unions augment workers' purchasing power and thus boost the entire economy. If you have any concerns about the danger of large concentrated private power and money, from the Koch brothers to the oil companies, the insurance companies, unions, even now in their weakened condition, are likely to be the loudest, most powerful ally you will have. Unions, as the old saying goes, are the folks who brought you to the weekend. Yay. And fight for your Social Security and your Medicare and Medicaid. And despite the long history of racism, like the rest of America, the Civil Rights Act, and now increasingly LGBT rights, meaning a bunch of issues that have nothing directly to do with the unionized workers. The minimum wage doesn't either, and the unions fight for that too. And safe workplaces, and on and on. At their best, unions try to make America a better place, not merely for their members, but for millions of others. Unions aren't perfect. They are not a countervailing power when what their own workers do is itself antisocial. See police unions, for example, in the past few weeks post-Ferguson. But if you read the news, you understand that governments, corporations, and nonprofits like universities aren't perfect either. In the past several decades of democratic revolutions all over the world, from South Korea to Eastern Europe to South Africa and elsewhere, unions and workers are in the forefront of these struggles. And when those movements are crushed, it is the organization of workers that are among the first to be destroyed or neutered. In a democratic society, unions are a critical part of the political culture, at their best, transcending the differences of race, gender, sexual orientation, and much more that divide people from one another, providing a democratic space in civil society between the family and the state. That's what social solidarity is about. Sometimes unions have to fight against the wealthy and powerful, but in doing so, they bring people together.
Thank you, Heidi. So please join me in reading the words for extinguishing our chalice, which has already been done for us by circumstances, but we'll still read the words found in your program or in the Zoom chat box. It is our work shared with each other in covenant that creates and sustains this beloved community. And now we will sing. After the closing song, we invite everyone to stay in person for coffee hour. For our friends attending via Zoom, we welcome you to stay in Zoom for the virtual coffee hour. Your mics and cameras will be turned on once service ends. So for our closing song, we will sing Go With the Song in Your Heart. You can find the words in your hymnal or actually in the program, I think. Yeah, it's in the program. Or as a comment in the Zoom chat box. So last song before service ends for today. Ready? Let's do this as our first note. La. Go with the song in your heart. Go with music in your soul. Leave with the memory of a melody. Go with the song in your heart. Go with the song in your heart. Now until we meet again. The joy of music is our gift to you. Go with the song in your heart. Leave with the memory of a melody. Go with the song. Go with the song. Go with the song in your heart. Yay. Just before you go, if you're interested in some free produce, we have a ton of tomatoes. So I have some plastic containers there by the door if you want to go harvest your hearts out. We have tomatoes, bell peppers, green beans, and kale. So have at it. Thanks, everyone.